Okay, so this is the gear I used in the Mage Tower, just default gear. You get better gear than this off the auction house. Haste verse gear. I went for a lot of haste in the build. I would say if you don't have one of these, you should get one of these. I had a bunch of close calls with I failed the event a couple of times where I was less than 10% like from finishing the fight. Bunch of times, got really close, and then I got this trinket and I beat it within 2 attempts. And I think this trinket like really holds. It has a lot of haste, does a lot of damage, and it's like a really good trinket when it's scaled down. And I use the pocket-sized computation device. This with the red card. This makes you pump the damage. It also has haste and verse. Yeah, so this is the gear I used. These are the talents I used for the Mage Tower. Schism just for pumping damage. You need Masso to survive. You need Mindbender to survive. There's a trick you can do to keep yourself alive with it. You need Psychic Voice. Shining Force doesn't work on the Fears, so you can't pick Shining Force. You need this for damage, Sins of the Many. This tier, I think you can do it with anything on this tier, but I thought Halo was the best for killing ads and totem in one go. I'll show you how I did that. I think it's better than Divine Star. I know a bunch of people use Divine Star for this, but even though Divine Star is like a shorter cooldown, you'll see how I use Halo, and I think it's like a better overall addition to the toolkit and lenience, obviously. Okay, so this is the fight. I always start the fight with my punch card to get it on cooldown. I fear the cast late so that it's as close to when the worm guy starts casting his as soon as possible, because sometimes you can fear both casts at the same time if you line the fear up. That's why I fear the first fear really early. So this part that's going on here is like the most important part of the fight at the start, and what essentially happens is he starts casting an earthquake, and this means that you mindbender the Tauren guy. So you mindbender the Tauren guy and you start mind searing him, and that will DPS the Tauren guy, give you mana back on the mana fiend from the mana fiend, and then what you can do is soon after the earthquake finishes casting, you press fade, and that will put the aggro from the guy onto your mindbender, and then your mindbender will suck up the green cast. For some reason it desyncs here, and I don't know why it desyncs, but I found this really weird that I was able to do this like a bunch of goes in a row, and then it like randomly desyncs sometimes. But anyway, it desyncs and it fucks me over, and I need a extra blast, so it's not like a perfect run by any means, and I still get it. I adapt on the fly, but that's usually the goal of what I'm doing. Is I'm trying to time the mindbender and fade at the end of the earthquake cast, and then I stand in the middle of the rocks, okay, and then I cast mind sear and DPS the guys in the middle of the rocks with the mind sear, and then when it's time to fade, you'll get a green debuff to dispel, and that's your cue to cast Halo. And if you DPS the guys in the middle properly, you'll see it's about to come up here. I actually get stunned. I think I even eat a green bit here. No, I didn't. But you see I cast the Halo, and the guys like nearly die They would die, but I didn't get the mind sears properly on them. But yeah, if they don't die, you just do a couple of holy novas, keep DPSing the guy, and trying to point the guy to eat the rocks. You try and point the worm into the rocks when it's running around. Now, once the worm has lost some of its stacks, see it's only got 2 stacks now, you can start cleaving it. You just weave in some spells. He keeps casting this annoying thing, so you can't really DPS him really hard, but you just do your best to DPS him and the other guy. You kill the totems. You can see I'm going to do the Shadow Fiend trick pretty soon. The earthquake ends, I press fade. When I get the green debuff, I don't even wait for the green debuff, I just halo it here, kill the guys. Really easy. The totem's going to spawn. See, for some reason that totem should spawn at the same time I casted that halo, and it should wipe everything out, which is what the main reason I like halo. But for some reason the spells like don't desync, like something desyncs how this fight happens sometimes, and sometimes it goes to the script perfectly and other times it doesn't, and I don't know why. It's just like Blizzard, probably spaghetti code or something. But yeah, you can just see now I'm DPSing the worm, and I'm not like overly trying to DPS the Tauren now. Like, I don't really care how long the fight goes for until the Tauren reaches about 30% HP. That's when you start taking a lot of damage. I do the mind bender trick, I do the halo trick, I wipe out the totem. For some reason it's spawning later than it should be. Usually when I do the halo trick it wipes out the totem too, so I don't know why. But anyway, yeah, so if you can just wipe out the totem, point the guy into the rocks, you know, you can get to the last phase. All you got to do is just do that over and over again. I try and fear both the casts there, but for some reason the fear's desynced as well. So you can see, guys, this was not even like a really like great run. This has like, this is like a totally scuffed run. Like, it's amazing how scuffed this run is, like compared to some of my other runs. And this run was the run I got it. I actually had better runs that I didn't get it in, but this is the one I got it. So yeah, you know the drill here. Look, I might see them all. I've got my fiend on him already. If you cast the fiend too late, you won't get mana back, right? Because the fiend's not going to attack, and you can actually go and when I first did this, that happened to me a couple of times. I actually went a couple of times because I didn't recognize that I need to cast the mind bender like instantly as soon as he starts earthquaking. Well, not instantly, at 25%. You don't want to do it instantly because otherwise the mind bender can despawn. I just take a stun here. The guy's feared, so I don't really care. I get green. It's whatever. I get low. I don't really care because there's nothing that can kill me anyway. He's about to do the earthquake. You shouldn't really be scared about dying in between. Like, if the cast is down and the guy is feared, like if you get hit by something, like, it's whatever. I did this like late at night. I'm even recording this late at night, so if you're wondering why I sound tired, that's why. I basically did this and just make the guide. But yeah, so you see I'm getting this guy really low. If I remember correctly, I kind of leave him low. Now, the reason I do this is because I'm not taking lethal damage from the roars yet, from the worm. Not taking big damage yet, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep the other guy from dying while I DPS the worm. Because if the worm, if the Tauren guy dies too early, then the worm will just pump you, because he'll do a lot of damage at the end of the fight, and you need cooldowns for everything he does, right? So yeah, so as you can see, as more eggs start spawning, so 4 eggs, this is where I feel like Halo is just so good. Look, I get the green dot, do the Mindbender trick, spell the dot, and then do the halo. And that's actually the first time I did it properly in the entire run. But I've had other runs where I've done that like 8 or 9 times, like perfectly. So that's why I recommend Halo over Divine Star. When you have like 4 of them, I kind of feel like it's pretty bad. Yeah, so let's see. I kill this, kill that, fear. Just DPSing the worm. I don't know how low I got the worm to, but I feel like if the worm's like over 40%, you're gonna have like trouble. I think like even like if you can get him to low 30s, like that's what you want. But the problem is you can't keep the totem, the Tauron guy dead forever, because like low forever, because you need to use your Mindbender on him to soak the things. So your Mindbender, see my Mindbender's actually like taking a few percent off him every single time. So you can't like keep him in a dead state forever. And right there I finish him off, and it gets to the worm. Now the worm pumps, he does a lot of damage. What you want to do is you want to fear. You want to try and kill the Tauron guy when you have a fear up. So you can fear him, you just pump, you use haste, you use your drums. I think I use my potion in a second. I'm trying to look for a good spot to use my computation device. Just pumping, pumping, pumping. I'm going to need to use a cooldown here soon. I don't. When you use your barrier, you need to use Desperate Prayer with it to make your HP higher, so that you don't get one shot through it. And you want to use that as your first cooldown because it's your weakest one. You may even need to Rapture. There were several times I died 100% HP with Desperate Prayer up barrier. So if you actually want to get value from those cooldowns, you have to use them first, because later on you'll just die through them. So yeah, I fear the next cast after. So it's just cooldown, fear, and you got to keep yourself on high HP in between. Because if you see, like if I don't have high HP, I can die through PS. I rush him down with a computation device. At this point, I know I've got it. I just got to not kill myself with Shadow of Death. That's another thing you can accidentally do. See how he's doing damage in between the attacks? If you Shadow Word Death at the wrong time, you could kill yourself. You know what I mean? So just when you're burning him, just be careful. You take a lot of damage from Shadow Word Death in this for some reason. Anyway, this is how you do it, and I hope this was helpful. Cheers.